let's cover the Uber Maven fight. This boss is a little bit different because she does all types of damage. The Maven itself only deals physical, lightning, fire and cold, but both the Maven and the brine will summon map bosses, and those map bosses can do chaos damage as well. Ideally you'd have maximum to all chaos, to all resistances, and some physical damage mitigation as well, but what is most important for this fight is going to be having 90% to maximum cold resistance. Fire and lightning, you can keep them to 75 because they are really not that important, and they are not important because you are supposed to dodge the lightning spells and the fire spells as well. Those spells tend to one-shot you. Let's cover the pantheon. For the Maven fight, ideally you'd have this soul of arakali because you are going to take a lot of damage from those puddles on the ground, from those degens on the ground. But if you cannot, but what is more important is to be chill immune. If you are not chill immune, then I think you should take Soul of the Brine King. But if you are chill immune, then take Soul of Arakali because this will help you with the degen on the ground. Also, what you want for this fight, if you can have access to damage over time mastery with 10% less damage taken from damage over time, just take it because it's so valuable. And also, if you can have access to this keystone right here, Lethe Shade, it's extremely important. On top of that, the usual 3 life flasks and 2 sapphire flasks with harvest enchants and all that good stuff. You do need some physical damage mitigation. You don't really need grace for this fight. I would say that you don't really need physical damage mitigation for this fight, but if you are using Molten Shell, then it's okay. But what you do want, it's spell suppression if you can take it on the passive tree, and some chance to block spell damage, and obviously 90% maximum cold resistance. You can search Maven on the PoEDB if you're interested. This is the boss, the Maven here. Now let's go over the fight. Maven tends to teleport a lot.
The prize piece comes to join.
So let's see. Here just the usual, cast a few spells, move a little bit. And here's the important part. This is pretty much what you're going to do for this Maven fight. The brain summoned those balls that now will be chasing you, and whenever they get close to you, they will explode, leaving a degen on the ground, and these degen puddles will not vanish until the end of the fight. What you want to do, you want to dodge them for a little bit, because Maven will do her spell attack. Now she does Cascade of Pain. At this point, Cascade of Pain, it's cold damage, so I would press preemptively the sapphire flask, dodge the Cascade of Pain. The way you dodge this Cascade of Pain, it's going as far as possible from the Maven, because these projectiles shoot outwards at an angle, and if you are far from her, it's much easier to dodge. And now after Maven casted her spell, I'm going to go in the middle, stay a little bit, wait for all the balls to explode, and then I will just proceed and move. Like this. And you can see that I barely took any damage, and that's because I have 90% maximum cold resistance. Also, when you are sitting still waiting for the balls to explode, just press the sapphire flask once again. And also, I took so little damage because of the Lethe Shade. These big balls right here that So,
A cascade of pain.
wait, where are they? These big balls right here, you should not touch them because they deal a lot of damage, so just dodge them. It's quite easy to dodge them.
A cascade of pain.
Once again, when she says Cascade of Pain, you just preemptively cast the Sapphire Flask and move to the opposite side of the arena because it's much easier to dodge them that way.
Take this.
When she says take this, you don't try to block that. So once again, the brain summoned the balls that will leave a puddle. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run away from them, wait for Maven to cast her spell, and then I'm going to go on the middle once again and stack these degens so that they overlap, so that I don't have... Right here, I took a lot of damage, and that is because my build has no spell block and no spell suppression. And I didn't have Infeeble on the boss right now, and also no Frost Shield. But if you have some spell block and some spell suppression, and you press your Sapphire Flask and have 90% to maximum cold resistance, you will not take as much damage as I did there.
Do what I say.
That is the physical hit, and you are supposed to dodge it. Here you will just go to the outside of the arena.
Behold my collection.
Here you just kill the brain. It's pretty much rinse and repeat. I'm assuming you already know about the memory game. I think I will just go to the last phase, because right now it's just the same thing. It's just repeating the same thing. So let's see.
Arrogant toy.
This is the last phase. This is the only thing that is important for this boss.
Stand still.
Whenever she says stand still, you want to stand still for like half a second so that you see the lasers, and then you just flame dash away, and that's how you dodge this. You don't try to walk, you just flame dash it like this. And that's the only thing about Maven. You should not let Maven touch you with these lasers or these lasers from the last phase, because they will apply a debuff that will lower your all maximum elemental resistances, so you cannot cheese this with Melding of the Flesh, by 10%. So that's a 100% damage increase, and you cannot recover life or energy shield. So this is, you should 100% dodge these lasers.
A cascade of pain.
Once again, when she says a cascade of pain, you try to move as far away from her as possible, because that's your best chance to dodge these projectiles and cast preemptively use the Sapphire Flask.
This will not be an escape. Scurry, scurry.
For the memory phase, I really don't know what to tell you. Just either watch the arena or just use the sound, because if you're using a headset, it's quite easy to identify which area you should go just by listening to the sound. Other than that, just your memory. I don't know. This you dodge 100%.
Stand still.
Once again, she says stand still. You try to stand still for a bit until you see these lasers, and then you just flame dash like this, and this is how you dodge the stand still.
A cascade of pain.
Cascade of pain, you run away from her and you use the Sapphire Flask.
Stand still.
Stand still, you stand still for a little bit, and then you just run away. And here I just made a mistake and got touched by this debuff. Usually if you don't want to die and Maven is not as low as mine, here you just log out and you reset the debuff. And anyway, this is the Maven fight. But this fight is much easier if you have lots of damage. because there will be less degens on the ground.